Recording Season 2, Episode 1 of Rocco on the Rocks. Action.
Let's fucking go.
Cue the music. You don't... What's up, rock stars? Welcome to another season of Rocco on the Rocks. I am joined on our first episode today by a very good friend of mine, Taylor.
Woo! Let's fucking go.
No, Taylor, thank you so much for coming on the first episode of Season 2. I really appreciate it.
Firstly, I just have to say I'm so proud of you and everything that you've accomplished with this whole show. It takes a lot. And we were just discussing offline how hard it is to not only A, get started, but B, to remain consistent in getting started. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of courage, and then just to capitalize on the opportunities that you have and like creating those meaningful conversations, because you do get, you know, those really amazing nuggets of people that you've had relationships with forever. Yeah. And everyone has something to share, and it's awesome that you created a platform to do that.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
No, of course. This episode's going to be great. We're going to talk about goal setting. I know you're very big on that. Yeah. So I figured you would be the perfect person to really kick off the new year and the new season, like really diving into all those topics.
And I love it. It's also flipping the script for me, because sometimes I'm usually the host. You know what I mean? So it's like very interesting. I'm guesting now on a couple of podcasts, so I'm getting the flow of what it's like to not be asking the questions, to be answering. But it's vice versa. My question to you, though. Sure. What are you looking forward to in this new year with the podcast? Like, what are your hopes and dreams and aspirations for it?
So my hopes, for sure, I did last year. My attempt of the goal was to have 52 episodes for the year, which obviously was a lot. Yeah. But I think this year is really that's my goal this year. So
where'd you end up last year on that?
27. Okay. So not too bad. Not terrible.
You got more than one. So you pat yourself on the back. You didn't hit your accomplishment. So you know there's room for growth. Exactly. And you're moving forward.
And I was trying to figure it out only because having a full-time job on top of this.
It's a lot, but that's also how you set yourself apart, is because the average person is just doing the average shit. Exactly. And also to veer off a second, I get often asked a lot, and a lot of complaints from family members and friends. I can't get a job, or it's so hard to find my perfect job, because you're doing what everyone else is doing. You're fucking submitting your application. I read 200 plus applications for one job. You are not setting yourself apart if you're just another Rocco, because I'm just skimming through it at this point after 50. No, literally. But if you send me cupcakes, or you show up to my fucking door, or you do something a little different, well, hold on a minute, Rocco, you sent me the cupcakes, I see your resume, now you're giving me multiple pieces to work with. And the same with this, and any endeavor. It's not going to be easy. No. It's not. And you know what? That's actually an indicator for success and growth. Exactly. When things are not easy, when things are uncomfortable, it's actually go fucking toward it, because you have on the other side of that a lot of opportunity. 100%. And that's where it's also amazing, because it does take way more work than the average person.
It's a lot.
And you have to say no to a lot, and know where you want to, where your value is, because time is everything. So
it really is.
And it does take a lot to put into this. So that's amazing, though, that you're identifying, at least in your head, where you see this going, and then also for yourself, because as you've mentioned, from season 1 to even this season, it's been a growth, and it's been a production, and you're always pivoting. And I'm sure even from this episode to the last one, I'm so interested to see what the evolution is going to be like. Exactly. Because if you're not evolving, and honestly, we should all be hypocrites. You should be a hypocrite of who you were yesterday, because if you're not, then you're not growing.
I like that.
You know what I mean? So challenge everything. And what are these things? What do people say? Oh, I have this thought, and oh, I read this. Did you read it? And did you really research it and really come to understand what you're actually regurgitating to me? Or are you just saying some bullshit of a headline and just going with the flow on that? But I can go on a lot of rants. So
no, by all means, we will have a bunch once we have our drink and sit down and get into it. But okay. So on our Scrump or Dump menu today, we are going to be celebrating the new year with the most appropriate drink, and we'll be having a glass of champagne. I have Martini and Rossi with us today. I don't know if you've ever had it before. Yeah. It's quite. Oh, you have? Yeah. I like it.
It's a nice one.
Yeah.
I'm a bubbly kind of girl. Yeah. Simple. Yeah, tequila wasn't my friend for a while. It's actually how I met my husband, but that's a side note.
That is my favorite story. I won't lie. That one's so good.
It's an iconic one. Definitely an interesting love journey there. What's your favorite drink, Rocco?
Tequila.
Yeah.
Tequila seltzer.
Tequila was my favorite. Then I couldn't drink it for like 6 years because of that experience. But now I'm back on it. I'm like,
no,
right,
now it's good. Now
back in the game.
Now it's your bestie again. Yeah,
now we're friends. But I'm like, girl,
you guys made up. You need to time apart. Everyone does.
But I was like, oh, we just needed some space, and now it's like, oh, I can only handle a couple of you, and that's it for tonight. You know what I mean? Instead of the 10, that was the first experience.
Yeah, no, trust me. Tequila is like constantly my go-to. I used to do vodka prior.
Ooh.
Stop. I know. But it's college. You're young. Yes. You don't know shit.
Oh my God.
You know?
College, I was drinking fucking Bud Light Platinums and wondering why I was getting chunky cheeks. I was like, what's going on here?
Literally, what am I doing?
And then plus living in Manhattan and paying $50 for a 30 was a whole nother scenario. I literally cannot even imagine what it is now. How are you supposed to pour champagne? I've always wondered that. Is it like a Guinness where you're supposed to let the bubbles?
I think
or is it where you tilt the cup? Like, is there a proper pour?
I think it's probably you got to tilt the cup. I'm like barely doing it, but it's fine.
No, I'm interested. I feel like we need to have. I would love
an expert,
bar experts.
Yeah. No, I need to get like sommeliers and like a million other kinds of people on here to like show me etiquette for certain things, because I'm just like, well, like, I just throw shit around. I'm like, ooh, let's have some fun,
But even like going into like what's the process of behind the drink, like, okay, we all talk about tequila. How the F is tequila made? Like,
I know.
What is the process? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be a really interesting little like maybe series where you go behind the scenes of like
and
these
go to
breweries.
a bunch of different places.
There's so many local breweries, and I'm sure there are local places that develop liquor.
Alrighty, let's try our drink. Scrump or dump. Cheers.
I wonder how it's gonna taste. Okay. All right.
That's a scrump. I love it.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
No, it's definitely 5 o'clock somewhere, and it's the new year, so it's the only appropriate thing to be having right now.
Of course, I mean you can't not have bubblies.
No,
whether it's seltzer or champagne,
it's the only appropriate thing to have. Exactly.
What's water nowadays? You need a little seltzer.
True.
It's actually a fault of mine. I have too much seltzer, but another side subject.
I know. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But we're gonna move over there, and we're gonna get into our conversation.
Let's go.
Alrighty.
Love your sweater, by the way.
Thanks. I think this is from Zara, maybe. Ooh. I got it once. This was like years ago. I got it, but thanks.
They have great clothes.
They do.
Yeah, I'm keen more on my clothes now because I'm really into like health and stuff and like all the fucking microplastics.
I know.
Which sucks.
You and Fo should sit down and talk.
Why? He's a microplastic fiend?
He's like obsessed with like organic. No seed oils, everything. Yes.
Yeah, they're coming to the light.
Yeah.
All the boys that were once a little dirty and they're like, oh shit, no seed oils? Like,
yes, they are.
It's really, life's really interesting when you educate yourself outside of the education system and whatever that is. Public, private, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Whether you went to high school, you went to college, you didn't, there's always an opportunity to educate yourself and to dig deeper to figure out the reason why you're following a food pyramid that makes no sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, we're so conditioned to just follow the authority or hierarchy that you don't even realize that you have the opportunity to question your doctor saying you should take this medication.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought about the doctor actually being wrong.
No, obviously.
You know what I mean? Like, you're always like, oh, they're fucking right. You know what I mean? They're basically Jesus. They know everything. And then
they did all this studying. They have to know.
They went through all this schooling. Like, I don't know shit about medical, anything about the human body. And then you do your own research and you come to find out, like, oh crap, like this is a little different. I mean, I was at NYU and I fainted and they thought, like, I mean, they were saying like I'm anxious, like I have anxiety, all this stuff. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, probably do.
Yeah.
But let me do my own research before you go put me on like a shit ton of medication.
Right.
So I did my own research and I figured out like, oh, you can like regulate your heart rate, your cholesterol with your breathing. And I was like, what the fuck? You can regulate your body with your breath, and then getting into the intricacies of that, it's like really real. And like I could have easily been like, oh yeah, give me the medication because that's easy. It would have solved my problems but also caused a shit ton of others, but also solved the problem that I was looking for. So it just goes back to being more curious, and it's so nice to see the evolution of like thought that someone goes from thinking one way about life or a specific idea and then detaching from that and evolving. One of my favorite quotes is something along the lines of the like brightest minds are attached to nothing. And it's really true. It's just like, are you attached to people? They're going to pass away. Are you attached to an idea? It might evolve and change. So just like being...
I really like that.
Being transformational and being able to evolve, because why are you saying, oh, I'm a Republican, or I went to, NYU and I'm an NYU alum.
Yeah.
Why are you defining yourself by a title? Like, it's a struggle for me too. People ask, like, Taylor, what do you do? Well, I'm not a marketer. Yeah. I'm not just a founder. I'm not just a creative. I don't just have a marketing company. I don't just run yoga retreats. Like, don't just put me in a fucking box because it's convenient for you.
Because you do so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I always, oh my God. I'm so glad we're diving into this, because I always feel like, for me personally too, everyone, especially like when it came down to, like you're saying, career and stuff, I feel like in my career, minus this show, because I feel like I have, at least for this, maybe because I'm like so into it, and it's something I truly love, I do have a defined goal for it, where when I'm like in my corporate setting, like I don't have a defined goal for anything, because it's just like, for me, it's harder to figure that out. And I also am just someone who's like, I just take everything day by day. Like, like I'm one who just has dreams versus like, I don't like, I like the idea of goals and like achieving them, but I'm also just like a big dreamer. So it's hard when people are like, where do you see yourself in 10 years in the corporate setting? And I'm like, well, in all honesty, like I don't see myself here in 10 to 5 years.
That's
you know what I mean?
And that's where I think the true, it takes a lot of courage to actually realize and admit that, and then admit it to yourself, firstly, because it's been probably a thought, like you go to, school, you probably maybe go to business school, and then you're like, the next step that society tells you is you go to like corporate business world. And then it's like, well, for me, at least, I had a similar experience. When I was a junior at NYU, I was playing softball, and we had to get an internship in order to graduate. And I went to the business school, and all my friends are going to, these corporate firms. And I followed suit, and I had an experience like my summer, the summer going into my junior year, and it was the most amazing experience in the sense where I learned exactly what I don't want to do. And up until that moment, I just had in the back of my head, like business. You don't think of anything beyond the corporate setting. I mean, my dad, he's an entrepreneur in a sense, like he's created products and companies, but you don't see your parents in the way that like you see startup founders or like these other entrepreneurs are like, oh, they just work, you know what I mean? So when I never really understood that like you could actually start your own company or like join others and like really allow that to flourish. And that's why I went into the internship. And then from that experience, I was like, you cannot give me a blank check to fucking sit here. Like, hell no, I will not write out $10 million. No, like I'm not wasting my time here. And then I was a deer in the headlights because I was like, holy shit, what am I going to do with my life? Because, I'm working so hard playing softball, and then you realize like, holy shit, the one nugget of like what I was going to do after softball is now coming to an end because your world just got rocked. You're like, what? Like, what now? I only have 2 years left till I graduate. What's going on with life? So realizing that, and then making the pivot into, okay, I see what everyone else is doing, and they're running toward the corporate world. Well, now all my friends that are in corporate right now, they're 4 years in, they hate it. They hate their life, but, they make a bunch of money, so they're like, oh, what should I do? What the fuck should you do? You're unhappy. You come home every day telling me how sad you are, but you make a lot of money, so that's like, it should be good. It's like, get your priorities.
You're content with that.
Right, like, get your priorities right. You can make a lot of money and do something you're really passionate and happy about, and everything can work out well. But do you have the courage to face that and to make the decisions you need in order to pave that path for yourself? So like I had to actually choose. You could decide to follow the herd, or you can choose to make your decision. So I had to make a tough choice, and like I had to stop playing softball because you're putting in 4 to 6 hours every day. I'm not going to be a fucking professional athlete. Would be great maybe if if professional softball paid the women well enough. That's a whole other conversation topic. You know what I mean? But they don't. So that decision was completely off the table for me. And then peeling back a layer, it's like, well, I don't really know what my passions are beyond softball. I've only been doing this for 18 years of my life. However long. You know what I mean? It's like you go between games and practice, and your whole life is just sport. And then you're like, what the fuck am I going to do? So it was a real transformation and shift in my life, deciding to stop playing softball my junior year and then try to figure out what the heck I liked. And that was the whole process, and it's still a process. And there's I don't, that's another point of why I don't like to classify myself as one thing. I'm not a marketer or a scientist.
You do so much.
Right. But it's also like, I'm also have a lot of interests, you know what I mean? And like, that doesn't mean that I'm like a chicken with no head, you know, my compass and my values and my compass are not changing. I know my why and I know why I'm here, and everything revolves around that. And you just fit the pieces into that compass. But if you don't have that compass and that guiding point, like if I didn't have that inner gut feeling and the courage to say, no, I'm stopping playing softball. Like some would call quitting. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I quit. Yeah. Like I stopped playing. And like my team was like, Taylor, what the fuck? And I was like, first of all, I'm winning individual accolades. We're not winning championships. What the fuck? You know, I like to win championships. Like, I don't care about getting MVP. This is not a me thing. You know what I mean? And that wasn't the vibe of the team. So it was just made everything a little more easier, and pieces fall into place, and you know, figure out by doing what you do and don't like. And then that's kind of how things evolve. So the fact that you started this show while you are in your job, you're getting that experience. You're like, oh shit, maybe I don't like the thing I'm doing in my 9 to 5. Well, you could switch and you could slowly transition and build it up. I mean, this is what all the people talk about, side hustles and bullshit.
Exactly. It just takes time. But like, you have to like just be willing to enjoy it. And like, you have to really just immerse yourself into it. Like I said, I mean, like with the show, this has probably been like one of the first things I've done where I feel like I know or would love to see a certain end goal, you know? And I feel like for corporate, for me at least, like working wise, I'm just like, you know, it's fun. I like it. Do I see myself as a manager? Maybe. Do I see myself as like, I don't know, CEO? Maybe not as much, but like I enjoy it. Like I do enjoy corporate. It's fun. I like reporting to someone. I like knowing that I did a good job for the team. It is like your colleagues and like coworkers like working together. It's fun, at least for me. Like I've been on good teams, so I have enjoyed my experiences. But other than that, like, in terms of something I've done on my own that I would like to see grow and like prosper more, like I feel like I've been able to finally like define what I would love it to be like towards the end, you know? I mean, it's going to be a road to get there for sure. I mean, because considering part of me like really wants this to be on the red carpet and like interview celebrities, which I think it'd be a great idea personally. I said this in like my last...
Flash the idea with me.
Okay. So I said this in like my last. I said this in my second to last episode of season 1, and it was after I had worked the Emmys and the VMAs and had obviously like the time of my life. Yes. Like it was.
It's an incredible experience.
No, it was. I like can't get over it. It was like the best thing ever. But from the Emmys, like we weren't on the red carpet, but I was waiting for people to come off the carpet. And I'm like waiting there, and I'm listening to all of these actors and actresses be like, does anyone have water? Where can I get water? Like everyone's just like goddamn thirsty, you know?
They're just fucking human.
Yeah, literally. So I'm like, okay, like that's something to pick up on, right? So I figured if I brought this show onto the red carpet, right? I'd be like the last person they interview with, whatever. We would make a drink, like I'd partner with whatever spirit brand, beer, you name it, like something, and it would be like its own little bar on the show. We'd have cocktails and mocktails because not everyone drinks. Yeah. So cater to both.
Love.
And also obviously have water because everyone's goddamn thirsty, as I learned. And I would just make the drink with them, have them do scrump or dump, you know, ask them who they're wearing, do the simple stuff, ask them how excited they are, what projects they're working on, keep it short, sweet, whatever. It was so nice meeting you. Head on into the show.
We should start this at like a couple of the galas that are local. Yeah. Like they have red carpets and they do have picks, but like I know like Julia's Butterflies, for example. I think they always go to like Macaluso's and they have a red carpet and they have photographers and everything. So
could be maybe good.
Incorporating like, you know, not starting small because it's actually, you're getting a lot of exposure, especially because where we are, like you have to remember, we're not in, you know, Bumblefuck, Oklahoma. We're in the tri-state area. We are. And you have no clue who people know, and everyone is 6 degrees away from everyone. I mean, when you talk about the award shows, going to them, it just makes you realize that like we're all the fucking same. Yeah. Like yes, we have different opinions. We grew up differently. That should all be respected.
That's totally fine.
You know, but like on the inside, we all we have a mind and a heart, and we all really just want to see others flourish. And most of the time, that's the case for most people. Like not all people are ill intent and have these, you know, divisive thoughts. So it shows you though, being immersed in that experience, like holy shit, like people just are people.
Yeah, no, 100%. But that's like the goal that I have for the show, at least.
It's important that you have some kind of guiding post, but then also being like you are, being open to that flowing. Like, you don't know
for
where
sure.
the journey
I don't know how I'm going to get there.
Exactly. And I think it's also beautiful that you're loving the journey.
Yeah.
You know, some people, they set a destination. They're like, you know, I'm going to make $1 million podcast company.
Yeah.
They get there and then they're like, well, now what?
Yeah.
And it's unfulfilling because you never fell in love with the experience of creating. And I think until you find something that you enjoy creating and not just the destiny, that's how you find your passion. Figure out what you wouldn't mind waking up early to do or staying up late to do. I mean, you got to work in the morning, but you got to you know, edit your podcast episode. You're the CEO of Rocco on the Rocks.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
Let me enlighten you. You're the CEO, the CFO, the fucking account executive. You're the manager. You're the customer service. You're the janitor. You clean up.
Literally everything.
You are everything. So like everyone's like, oh, you do this nice thing. It's like, oh no. You don't understand how much effort it takes. And that's why so many people don't do it. And that's why so many people quit. Like, if you look at the podcast numbers and the statistics of how many people get to 100 episodes, it's fucking insane. It's like 70% of people do not make their 100th episode that start. And like thousands of podcasts are started a day. So it just goes to show you, actually, you're already in the 1% starting. Right. I mean, fucking that figure up. But you're already in a small number starting. You're even in a smaller number to continue. And then, you know, you're now in a minority if you just continue and be more consistent. So that's how you set yourself apart. It's not doing things, you know, the way that's always been subscribed and following all the rules. Like, yes, be nice and be kind. For sure. But if you could step out of the box a little bit and still be nice and be kind, fucking do it. Yeah. If someone says, you know, you want to apply for a job and like me showing up to your door is a little stalkerish with some cupcakes, well, fucking call it stalkerish. I don't care. I want the job. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do it a lot, you know? You know, I will push the boundary a little bit.
If we haven't already met, like,
like, I'm going to let you know who I am. And like that I know your favorite shoe might be whatever, the Jordan 4. And I'm going to get you whatever. So just, it's really about going the extra mile and caring. That's what it comes down to. It's like, you don't really care.
Caring about yourself.
Caring about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what it goes back to in this new year too. It's like, we talk about New Year's resolutions, right? Yeah. I think New Year's resolutions are bullshit.
Yeah, let's dive into that.
They're bullshit. Because why do you need to wait 365 days to fucking create goals for yourself?
To do something.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Right.
Start again. Begin again. There's a saying in yoga that I really like, and it's whenever you fall off your mat or fall out of a pose or do something wrong or not in the intention you wished, you just begin again in that next moment. You don't need to wait for the next day. You don't need to wait for the next activity. Just begin again in that next moment. And we don't need to, you know, wait for January 1st to create these 12 goals that you're going to have for yourself that you're probably not going to fucking check off. You're going to probably check off the first one of the first month. Yep. And then it's like March. You're like, oh, next year. You know,
I did it once already. We're good.
You're like, oh, I'm good. And this is like what you see with society. Yeah. And this is why you have such a large amount of people that are just like head down, unhappy, in the herd mentality because you're just doing the same shit. Yeah. Like, what do you expect? It's like, there's a saying, I forget who said it, maybe Albert Einstein. It's like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is stupidity. Yeah. It's like, no shit. True. Yeah. You know, I feel lazy and unenergetic. Well, maybe look at your diet. Maybe look at what time you're going to bed or waking up or how much sleep you're getting, who your friends are. Like, there are so many layers to you just feeling lazy. You know what I mean? And it does maybe has a minuscule amount for like other things. There's so many layers. Yeah, to everything. But I agree with you. Like, why wait till because like you're already pushing yourself back so much, waiting and anticipating, like it's ridiculous. I mean, for this, like this took me like a year in the making to produce, but only because it took a lot of trial and error. Like I started to figure things out, things weren't working, but I wasn't like gonna put something out that I knew like already was like gonna fail. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to do that, but I didn't. Like, again, it took a whole year, but I still was like, you know what? Like, just keep trying, don't give up. And, like, a lot of people told me that. My sister, especially with her podcast that she had, was like, keep trying, like, don't give up and stuff like that, you know? So, I agree with you. Why wait if, like, you're not already going to try to get there? Yeah. You know? And there's also, like, there's a fine balance in, like you said, not putting out like some scrappy version because you do want something to be a representation of yourself. Right. But also understanding that like not everything needs to be perfect and you could just get it out there and be okay with like that version because you know that you're going to evolve. Exactly. You'll see the growth. I mean, like you've seen the girl, you have a fucking hat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of little elements.
I know. I'm debating on if I want to sell it or not.
Sell?
Yeah.
You should sell what our frequencies in it that help the mind and the body. It's a new thing, dropping clothing.
Oh.
We have it on Olympic athletes, professional pitchers, and everything like that. We just infuse in this case, the thread. With our frequency combination, and bada bing, bada boom. But no, it's been 30 years in the making.
Oh, okay.
With physicists and medical doctors and everything like that. But yes.
Down the road, maybe? Or right now?
No, right now.
Oh,
We're patent pending right now, baby. We help. It's called Light Lab. And we have a bunch of different frequencies that can help with like plant growth, helps with your mind and your body, can help with muscle and joint function.
Oh my God, and everyone who wears my hat will just feel on top of the world.
Yeah, then you feel a little better. And it's all on the subtle energy level. So like everything that's being depleted by 5G and all this crap that's like our foods, polyester actually depletes the frequencies. I mean, our human bodies, we're energetic beings that can actually be measured. And that's why these frequencies work. So our frequencies and the combinations basically tune in with the body and figure out where you're lacking and retune it. So it's in a sense where it's like yoga, where I'm going to tell you yoga is going to help you, but it might help your back. It might help my like lower body. So it might be different, but the benefits are always there. And, right. It's scientifically proven. So so if you want to launch it, I would launch it with the frequency. So you could say you're helping people, but
okay. No, I like that.
No sale, no promo.
Will they help them get over hangovers?
We can make a frequency combination.
Right?
For that. Yeah,
because that could be great.
I like that.
Right?
Rocco, you might be on some Rocco and the Rocks.
Little hangover cap.
I love that. It could be like a little tincture or something.
Yes,
Put it in your water like the next day.
Yeah.
Like you're feeling, okay.
We'll be in touch for that.
Yeah. Don't take that. Patent pending. So
No. But I like this. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. So it's just like, but it goes back to knowing. So I have, marketing. I do.
Right. Retreats, you do it all.
But the point is like it's aligned with my compass and like my why, and my why is to help people on the planet.
Right.
And that's a bunch of bullshit. You can't go into meetings and say, oh, I want to see love and kindness. Like, the business guys that I deal with, they would go, tell me to go fuck myself. Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
These people can't deal with people talking shit. Oh, you should sit in the business meeting with 10 guys that are ready to rip you up. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're afraid of the world. Like, step into my world.
Literally.
But it's just interesting that's why it's so important to have that compass and to know your values, because then the puzzle pieces fit into that.
Yeah.
Like I have media companies and like I also do podcasting, but it's only to drive deep conversations that can help people become more insightful or become more curious and open their minds to different ways of life or different ideas and new perspectives that they may have never thought of before.
Right.
So I think that's going into the new year, maybe instead of like having 10 goals that you're just going to check off the box, maybe one of the biggest goals, even for myself, it's an ongoing thing, is to just know yourself better.
Yeah,
and to figure
100%.
and to dive deeper into like where your traumas are at. Like we all go through so much shit. Like just because someone like lives in this fucking house and like appears to have everything, like you can go through a lot of shit.
I know, it's so daunting seeing it and just like comparing yourself. I think like that's what really affects everyone is like constantly I mean, like for this, like people watch it and they're like, oh my God, you have a studio. I'm like, it's literally like my basement. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the perception is so skewed because people are always trying to compare. And it's like, let's stop trying to compare and let's instead try to like hold hands and unite. There's a quote that I love by Audrey Hepburn, and it's something along the lines of, as you go on in life, you realize you have two hands, one for helping yourself and the other for helping others. And I think it's so important that like instead of figuring out like where we're divided on, let's figure out where we're connected on and let's lift each other up through that, because we could fucking create a laundry list of all the things we don't agree on, which is that's human nature,
which is fine.
It should be. I love debate because it's how I actually learn. It's how I've been in the most beautiful debates I've been in you're not screaming at each other. You're genuinely engaging in a thoughtful, critical conversation where you're backing your information up with some facts. I'm researching and understanding that, and we're together having a conversation that is putting our egos to the side and really wanting, the best for not for just us, but for others. And I think we're constantly in a society where it's like, oh, well, what she's doing this, he's doing this. How about you worry about your fucking damn self? You know what I mean? Like, look at your own doorstep. It's a little dirty over there. Don't fucking look at mine at how clean or not clean it is. Figure out your own self. And I think like we want to ignore ourselves. Mm-hmm. Whether you want to use alcohol, drugs, social media, the doom scroll or whatever, to just anything but to sit quietly with ourselves and our thoughts. Yeah. We don't do that enough. No. Even I don't do that enough. Mm. But when I do sit quietly with my thoughts, holy shit, does it reveal a book and a story. Yeah. And it really does help you move through different experiences in your life. So I think that's also a really important little nugget.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that, especially like being alone and like in a quiet space, because you're right, like you can sit on your phone all day long and just be like, wow, that would be nice one day. I wish. How many times do you say I wish when you see something?
So true. Probably you too. Like how many times you saw for the podcast before you started it, I wish I had I wish I could do this twist on this podcast. Or like, I like this idea, but I wish I had my own, until you actually fucking did it. Yeah. And now you could scroll in an educated manner and see others and be like, oh, I want to implement that. Because now it's no wish.
I love it. Yeah. Now it's not even comparing myself. I'm just like taking from what I see other people do and just like kind of putting a spin on it, making my own. Like, but I feel like now I've finally gotten into that mindset because I've already done it for the season 1. Like, I just wanted to do it on my own, see how it goes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and now since season 2, like, sure, I'll add in a few more edits for like certain things, like stuff like that. Like the episode I just did with Nick when we made pizzas recently.
I love that.
I did like, video overlay of like showing the pizzas and stuff like that. Like, I've never done that before, but like I figured it out. I thought, like I thought it'd be fun. It'd be nice. I mean, granted, I'm using one camera the whole time. I don't have the different angles. We're not there yet, and that's fine. But how can I make that work a little bit more to myself? So I agree. Like, it's just now I have that mindset of like, not I wish, but like, how can I?
And important to start, and then once you start, people
just have fun with it.
Just have fun. But like, also a reminder to myself too is like, just because you want to embark on a journey doesn't mean the journey needs to be clearly defined and laid out from A to Z. Yeah. You can embark on a journey where you might just know A and B, or maybe not. And you could start and just dip your toe into something and be like, ooh, or I love this, and like, let me explore a little more. And it's beautiful that you were able to, like, you still are seeing the transformations, and you're falling in love with the journey, which is why this is evident that this is a passion of yours, and like one of the facets of many passions that you can have is hosting and creating these these conversations in a light manner around drinks, whether it's an alcoholic beverage or not, it doesn't matter.
All are welcome.
But if you look in like human history, look at how communities and tribes are formed. It's formed around people and connection, and also food and drink. Whether it's alcoholic or not, food is something that
it brings people together.
Culture comes together over. Poor, rich, mediate, does not matter. Everyone has a need and a want for food and for a drink. So in order to provide like that safe space and create that's where you can really, create a lot of value. And it's just that evolution, like you said, to go from that wishing mindset and then like, I wish I dream, into like the actual do and just living that out.
Yeah. No, it's been fun and I'm really enjoying it. But you're right. Like, we really do come together over the little things that like people don't realize that they start, you know what I mean? Like you said, especially with food and drink, like everyone really does come together for that. And you mentioned like you have podcasts and such, and like you run a media company right now. How has that been for you?
It's been amazing. I think the biggest thing that I'm learning about myself through podcasting, I have one tech podcast called the Hyper Engaged Podcast. So it's much more on tech focused founders and executives, and then another one called Nuggets, which is more open-ended, like homeless people, 100-year-olds, executives and all that, more wide-ranging conversation. But what I'm finding is I really enjoy getting deep with someone off the bat. I hate surface level bullshit. Don't ask me how I am, because you're not going to just get good for me. I'm going to tell you my day was fucking great and this is why, or my day sucked.
And you're just going to list it all.
Here is the laundry list. And don't look at me like I'm nuts because you asked. And you should care if you asked. You know what I mean? People
oh my God. I love that.
Every day people are like, how are you? I'm like, are you really? I literally preface this. I'm like, are you really asking me? Or are you just like genuinely?
Just curious.
And most of them are like, oh no, I'm really asking. I'm like, okay. And some of them are like, I really appreciated that. Or some of them are like, I wasn't expecting that. Like, well, what were you expecting? Like, I'm fine. I'm good.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, don't be such a fucking fake bitch. I'm sorry, but like, you don't care. don't ask me. Ask me something else. Like, what was the highlight of my day? Or what word would I put on a billboard? Something different besides the one question that you probably don't care about. You know what I mean?
So no, for sure.
That's where it's like shaping the deep conversations, because then you can really figure out, like, is this someone that I want to continue putting energy into, whether that's time, financial, space, whatever that looks like. Energy is a multi, exchanged commodity. So what is that, someone that I want to, go deeper with, or is it someone that, you're better off over there? No hate ever, even with murderers, definitely don't agree with your decision. You know what I mean? But like, I was in the construction world and I was actually meditating with murderers. So I there's no judgment here, because we all have our shit. Don't agree with it, but like, I'll just take you for who you are right now. Of course, I'm thinking about what you did, but like, to each their own, and like, who you show up right now and who you present yourself as to me right now is who I'm going to take you as until you show me differently. So I think it's really important that like, as we move through life, just being intentional. Like, when you ask someone, how are you, or how their day is, or how their family is, are we really asking? Yeah, like, do we really care? I know I'm like the worst person to ask that to, especially at the bar, because like, I'm going to sit you down and tell you my whole life story. Yeah, like, you're like, hold on a minute, dog. You got a minute? Or like 1 minute or 5?
Yeah, like, let's grab a drink, and like, I'm going to tell you everything about myself, like right here, right now. And like, you honestly probably won't say anything back, and that's totally fine. But I am that person that will, if you ask, I'm giving you every, like, from start to finish, the day I was born till now. Like, get ready. Like, buckle up. Like, I'm so bad at that. Well, I shouldn't even say it's bad, but like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how I am. And I definitely probably have scared so many people. People love it though sometimes, because they're like, oh my God, like, he's so funny. I mean, half the time they're drunk off their ass, so it's perfect. Like, they'll never remember half the shit I tell them. But like, I always do it. Always. I mean, you're living your authentic self. And I think more people need to do that. And if your authentic self is to not share your deepest, darkest secrets and your childhood like you would, don't. Yeah, right. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, be comfortable in whatever you're interested in doing, but like, don't be this fake person that you're trying to show up one way, and then you're like, oh, well, I have so many fake friends, or like, why don't people like me, or like, I'm so unhappy. It's like, have you looked at yourself and like your habits, your actions, what you're doing, what you're thinking? Oftentimes, we're our own worst enemy. How many times do I look in the mirror and say, I'm fucking fat, or I'm fucking ugly? And it's like, goddamn, holy shit. Like, I don't need to say I'm fucking beautiful, but like, all right, you look at all right, sister. Like, you know, we're like, we're doing good, you know? We're like, we could go on with our day today. I mean, shit. For my wedding, 2 weeks before my wedding, I have this thing called the One Wheel, and it goes like 20 miles an hour, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm nuts with it. So 2 weeks before my wedding, I convinced my husband now to go at night to like take a cruise ride, whatever. Fuck up my whole face, okay? I have scars on my face. No way. Oh my God, it's so bad. You should probably do a video overlay of this. Rebecca Alonso, she did my makeup. Yeah, she has. She has all the videos. It's literally insane. I look like I got in a fist fight. It looked like I was abused. I fell, scraped my whole face. I had bruising here, bruising on the top, all over, so bad that she had to cover it all up. And at the end of the night, the makeup started to like wear away, and people thought I had like kiss marks like on my cheek here. So they started to rub, and I was like, "Honey, no, that actually hurts you." Like, this is the problem. They're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Thank God you didn't sing." Like, shit. That's crazy. But just going back to the fact is like, life ebbs and flows, and you cannot like wedding day perfection and like life perfection, and like, life is never going to throw me any hiccups, and all those preconceived thoughts will only steer you bad. Like, our wedding theme was wabi sabi, and in Japanese it means beauty in the imperfection. And we literally leaned into something being imperfect, because you hear all the horror stories like, oh, this didn't go good. It's like, we fucking know something's not going to go good. Let's just embrace it. Thankfully, everything went amazing. But like, you know, we did have a couple hiccups here and there, but it didn't ruin the day. I said, as long as my husband's on the other end and he didn't run, I don't give a shit. The fucking venue could blow up. Literally. You know what I mean? We'll just do it in the parking lot. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, life goes on, honey. Right. No, it's true. Figure it out. It's just, you know, there's so many, you have that perspective as you have different experiences in life, at least for me, particularly losses or like near losses. Like my mom, when I was younger, she almost died of breast cancer. Losing like our 2-year-old cousin Matthew, also losing our other cousin JJ at 13 a couple years ago. So just going through losses in your life, you could
look at that and be like, my life fucking sucks, why me? Or you could take the lessons and the light that those experiences can teach you and live every day in gratitude. Live every day like, yeah, you're not gonna just tell me what to do. Like, I'm gonna go create the path. I'll fucking dig it with a shovel. I'll pave it. I don't care how it's getting done. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're not stopping me, because I've seen that life is short, and I've seen the, you know, how fragile life could be. So really having those experiences and trying to figure out the lessons. Like, not everyone has such horrible experiences like that, but everyone has really traumatic experiences. So instead of looking at it like, oh, poor me, figure out how you can use those experiences to elevate you, and even maybe find your passions. Maybe those horrible experiences, like you were drawing and maybe you forgot that you drew, and now all of a sudden you being quiet and not scrolling or like giving yourself those moments, you remember that time, and you remember like, holy shit, haven't picked up a pencil in a while. And like, maybe that's your calling, and if you just needed that moment of silence to figure out what that experience was to teach you. So I just think it goes along with like ebbing and flowing in life, and not being so hooked to like one thought or one identity or one title. Like, you're not a CEO. You're not just a CEO. You might be a dad, a husband, a son, a brother. Like, you're so many layers. And just acknowledging that too. Like, I never walk into meetings and I'm like, oh, let's handshake. Like, you're giving me a hug. If we're gonna do if we're doing $1 million deals, you're not fucking just handshaking me, buddy. Like, we're business is sleeping together. No offense, but like, I don't sleep with my husband. But seriously, if we're doing business together, like, I gotta trust the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Because I've been burned, and it's been burned over handshakes. You know what I mean? Give me a fucking hug. I want to know your family. I want to know all the things, and then we'll do it. And that's how I conduct myself with, I don't care if you're my age or if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I mean, my oldest business partners are my closest ones. I mean, I do business every day with 7-year-olds. Those are my business partners. Like, I'm literally talking to 7-year-old men. And just because I'm around them and I see the value that they have and the opportunities that like we can both provide each other. And but if I saw them as old men and didn't see them as a human being, like with their experience and what they can teach me, then that's just what they would be, old men, instead of friends and partners and, you know, beyond that. So don't stick to these like conformed ideals, because it can really screw you in multiple ways. Oh my god,
I totally agree with that.
So
no, I really do.
That was a little weird.
No, that is totally fine, because I personally like cannot stand being put in a box.
It's like, so annoying.
I'm too energetic to be like put in a box. Number one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if
bitch, don't fucking at least put me in a bag so I can move around. I mean, a box is a little like tight.
No, like the 4 walls kills me. Like I'll jump out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can't do it. Like. So I just don't. I hate when people are like, "Oh, like let's label you as this." Let's do that. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Just don't.
To your point, some of the most amazing experiences have come from like me being unorthodox in a sense. Like when I graduated, so in college, like I started an artificial intelligence company. I had a creative agency, whatever. Like I'm like, oh, I like tech now.
Yeah.
I like the creative world. That's after softball, and then I'm like, I don't really know if that's where I really want to like.
You try to
build my career.
Yeah.
But I like it. So I was like, oh, I'll just be in construction. And my dad, he has a construction company. So I was the project manager. I fucking hate titles. So I was just like, I'm just going to help out wherever is needed. Of course, you have your responsibilities, but so I'm showing up to like this high rise. We're building a high rise in Jersey City, and I'm meditating on the job every day. And this I'm getting meditating, because at lunchtime I would say to the guys, I just need 5 minutes. I'm gonna meditate, and then you can come in and we can eat all together. Because like at that time I thought you only can meditate in a quiet place. Of course I know now that you can basically meditate anywhere. So I'm meditating, and this one guy, Michael, he comes in and he starts fucking with me. And this guy's like a murderer, like dead ass, been convicted, the whole nine. He comes in, he's like, Taylor, what the hell are you doing? Like cooking up some witches and shit? Like you're making a cauldron? Like, it's just saying all this shit. I'm like, Michael, you've literally killed people. What, are you too cool to like follow your breath and like focus on your breath? He's like, what? Like that's all it is? Had him sit down with me. The next day he comes to meditate with me. I get a couple of the other guys meditating with me. But if my perception of these guys were like, they're just construction workers, they don't care, they are not open-minded, I would have never even, I would still not pick them off a wall to say these guys have meditated in their life. No way. I would say that they were going down without meditating. But if you abolish those preconceived notions and step outside of that, there is room for this unorthodox growth and transformation that can happen between multiple people. And again, it's just about doing things a little differently. And you could use the paths that have been paved as a framework and as a guide book a map, but don't just follow it.
No.
And like try to create your own way. And you're doing a beautiful job of doing that. Like you don't just have a podcast, you have a niched theme. You do something interactive. Like you're not just holding a microphone saying, hey, tell me about your background. What's your story? Like, what did you do? Like, that's fucking bullshit. Like no one wants to hear that stuff. So it's about doing things a little differently. And to your point, don't just have these perceptions of like, oh, you have this great studio. Like, actually, you do have a fucking studio. It just so happens to be in your home.
It's just in my basement.
So what? You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
We make it work, and like it looks like more official than like other stuff you see. But like regardless, like in terms of like an actual studio for like what I see for the show, like I've said, I've never really seen a studio for it. I see it being like more mobile and like me taking it places like. I brought the studio once to my very good friend Daniel's house and like Daniel's apartment and set it up there and whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just easy. Like it's a happy hour. I'm coming over to make drinks. And we're just like here to have a good ass time and just like shoot the shit and talk. Like that's the point of the show. And
I think leaning into that and embracing that is where you're gonna get the most genuine conversations and the ones that are going to be able to shape the path of the show, because you never know who's going to be listening to an episode or a little comment or a thought or anything that you put out there. So it's just about consistently showing up. And there's something that a guy that I follow, Sahil Bloom, he has this concept of increasing your surface area of luck. I don't believe in luck because I think luck is bullshit. I think everything happens for a reason. And the reason why is because you're not just lucky. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You're prepared in some sense, and then there's also an opportunity where you could become lucky. Okay? There's no such thing as like, oh, the universe fucking doing this. I completely understand science now and like really into it and like understanding quantum entanglement and like all these other things of the unseen forces. It's like, oh no, this is like legit and real shit. Like this actually, there's no such thing as luck. There's just the universe. Look at nature. There's nothing that nature does that's like a misuse of energy. Everything has a reason and a purpose, and sometimes we don't understand it and we never will, but everything has a purpose.
Right.
So going back to that point of increasing your surface area of luck, how do you do this? By being more prepared in whatever your passions are, or being more prepared in your mental state, or whatever you're trying to cultivate and grow, preparing yourself for that. So when you do hit the stage, if you know you get anxious hitting the stage and talking in front of large groups, fucking practice beforehand. Make sure that you have a speech. Make sure you have a little routine, maybe that can calm your heart rate down. Whatever that looks like, but don't just go up there being like, I'm going to get lucky and just deliver my speech. No, prepare for that opportunity so that you could get lucky in the eyes of others. So it's just about increasing that surface area of luck. For you, it's about consistently putting out great content, and every time just making it a little better, whether that's a new overlay or a new animation or a new tune or jingle or another piece of content or a quote, whatever that looks like. It's just continuously building and adding on. And I think that's really the crux of life, is like not being in this stalemate position and just being satisfied and content. It's continuous growth and evolution, and it goes beyond just like schooling. And, you know, life is a journey of learning, and I think that's something to be embraced.
No, I really like that. Like I totally agree with you. Like you have to just go for it and like you're saying, embrace it all, because if you don't, you'll just still be kind of where you are. I mean, like, I think too, like struggle, like not a struggle, but something that's like always in the back of the mind is like, oh, you're putting yourself out in the public eye, whatever. And sure, it is the scariest thing in the world. There are like crazy people out there for sure, but I'm not trying to do anything in terms of malicious, nothing. Like I'm truly just trying to create a space where people just have fun, you know, like just come here, listen to an episode, and just like goddamn feel good about yourself, get something off your chest, whatever, and like let's just enjoy it, you know? Like
and I feel like people feel the intention. Like intention's everything, and like you can show up in a room and you know when someone genuinely is interested in talking to you and like when someone is not interested in talking to you. And like the intention creates the space, and the space creates the environment, and the environment can create the outcome. And everything is a layer and a trickle upon everything. So what is your intent with doing the podcast, and what is your intent with the space that you're creating, and everything? It has to go with the smells, the sights, the sound, like everything is to be thought of, you know?
It's true.
Even in our home, like Frankie and I, whenever we have anyone over, or even not, I always have like tunes on, whether it could be like some instrumental Beethoven bullshit, or it could be jazz or like rock or
something.
whatever. It's something, but like we're multisensory beings, and to just continuously ingest one form of, information or, value is, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So expanding the palette of luck, of different content, of different experiences is the way of life.
No, it's literally so true. And you touched on how you meditate and everything. How did you, give us some tips on those who are beginning to meditate and whatever, and just like kind of just focusing on themselves, and also how'd you get into it? Like what started that all?
I love that. I wish I could say I've always been into it, but I've not been. I've always had a misinterpretation of, and actually completely judgmental perspective of what meditation and yoga was. When I was, playing sports in college, I only had performance and gym in my mind. I didn't think of stretching as important. I didn't think of the mental aspect. In my head, it was just fucking be prepared and you're going to be able to perform. And that was it. So it was a real transformation when I actually, my husband now, his mother, his family, they're really big into yoga and meditation. I was actually called his mother a yoga bully. She is the yoga manager at Lifetime, and she's really big into yoga. Teaches yoga classes, runs a YTT yoga teacher training to runs helps does the retreats with me, the whole nine. And I always you're fucking nuts. I'm not coming to yoga. These are a bunch of weird ass crazy people that are just fucking bouncing on their head. I can't balance. I don't know what to tell you. It ain't me. But when I broke that preconception, I went to class. I was like, holy shit, this is actually a workout. This is hard as it is hard as shit. Some of the practices are hard. They could be really slow and you're holding poses, but that is as hard as going to a fast-paced class where you're sweating your ass off.
Like a berries or something.
Everything is there to tune in and transform you. So I really got into meditation and yoga by just being exposed to it, and then actually trying it and putting my judgments to the side. I still thought it was fucking crazy, but I just stepped toe.
You were willing to try it.
I tried it, and that's really where it shifted. And then from there, I started doing guided meditations. I would look shit up on YouTube. I would ask my mother-in-law for some, and you could just find a bunch of stuff on the internet. When I first started off, I was thinking I had to be in a dark place. I had to be sitting with my fucking crisscross applesauce, the Buddhas and all this shit. You don't have to.
What you see on TV.
Now I can meditate in the subway. I can meditate in a doctor's office. I can meditate surfing. It doesn't really matter. All meditation is, it's simply the ability to focus. Focus on your breath. Focus on nothing, whatever that you decide it could be. Most people like to focus on their breath because it's something that's consistent. So just focusing on the breath entering and exiting the nose. Nose breathing is the only way that we should be breathing. Mouth breathing is actually really bad for you. There's a lot of research and science on this. That's why we have nose hairs and all that crazy fun stuff, because you actually have to filter all this pollution that's in the air. And there's a lot of really bad or a lot of science and research attributed to mouth breathers and their jaw lines and snoring and anxiety and depression. There's an extensive body of research related to this, but just really focusing on the breath exiting and entering the nostrils, and then being able to do that wherever, whenever. Being able to do it for a minute. I could do it for 3 hours. I could do it for a minute. I think the point for me is just staying consistent. So if I only have 5 minutes in my day, making sure I tick that box and get that 5 minutes in. But my intention is not to tick the box to make sure I meditate for that day. It's to truly immerse myself in the meditation, because for me, what I'm getting out of the meditation is those quiet moments with myself. It's those moments where I'm able to reflect on a day, reflect on an experience, or maybe an experience pops up, or maybe there is no guide and you don't know what appears. And it's just ebbing and flowing with that. So tips are there's not one way to do it. There's literally millions of ways. For anyone that's going to say this is the way, run far, because they think they know everything. You don't need to be in a dark place. You could freaking meditate with your eyes open. They don't need to be closed. Your legs do not need to be crisscross applesauce. You don't need to be sitting. You could be standing. You could be, you can't be talking, but you know what I mean? So silence is key. But you could
within yourself.
But you could be in a club and meditate. It's way harder, because to focus on your breath when there's so much craziness going on, that's where, meditating in quiet places helps you because you're building that rep of getting your mind to focus and calm down faster. But meditation is not quieting your thoughts. You're never going to be able to quiet your thoughts. Right. There's no silencing your thoughts. They'll just continue to come on. So that's also a misconception. Like, don't go into meditation saying, I'm here to silence my thoughts. Well, you're never going to do that. So let's just start there. But you're really there to just focus in on that, maybe your breath, and then tune into your body. Where are you aching? Where are you pain? Like, where are the pains? Like, do you have something, like, is your throat like more tense than normal on the left side, on the right side? Why? What's going on? Like, can you feel it? Like, it really gives you the opportunity to tune in and bring a level of awareness and presence to yourself, which allows you to go in life and, like, shit can hit the fan. You're like, this is how we're going to approach it, because you're able to deal with the chaos, because it's not real chaos. You know, you're able to just move and work with it. So those are the biggest things that I've learned in meditation. It's honestly, I'm not on any drugs or anything. I mean, I could have easily been on it for, I have anxiety. Probably been through all the shit, depression, all the things. You name it. You know what I mean? But I've chosen to rely on the different aspects of my mindfulness practice, my meditation, sauna, like cold showers, cold plunges, yoga, some kind of movement, whether it's yoga or working out, but being really religious about those things and not compromising on that. Like, I won't go out if I haven't done a sauna or whatever, because I will be fucked up if I don't, because of everything. Like, I'm literally doing so much shit. And, like, if I don't have my mindfulness practice and, like, really make that like my Bible, then I'm lost. Like, I'm a chicken with no head. For real. So I think meditation has been a huge unlock for me, and it's actually like made me go, like, I'm sure even like the people closest to me can attest to this. Like, I used to fucking fly off the handle. I'll still fly off the handle. It just takes me a little bit more to get there. And like, the reason's got to be a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, I would get in bar fights if you like blew on a friend of mine like 7 years ago. Now, like, it takes you a little bit. You got to be spilling drinks. You know, the whole nine. You have
to like basically be shoving me to no end.
So like, it's really helped me evolve as a person, and just like how to deal with just different stressful moments, and just knowing that like it's gonna pass, you know. Just take action, or if I don't take action, it's just gonna keep arising, you know. And just like recognizing these little patterns, both within yourself and within, like, there's so much research and information out there. It's, you know, just about, I guess, digesting what resonates with you, and then, you know, figuring out how you're going to use it in your map. You know, what tools are you going to use? For me, it's breath work. For someone else, it might be a medication. No judgment. You know what I mean? Like, whatever tool you want to use is on you. You know what I mean? Like, sunlight is a huge thing. People say don't go out in the sun. It's like, no, you need to understand what the sun does. You know what I mean? So there's just so many different layers of the human body, and just life and business, personally, professionally, it all ties into one. Like, there's no such thing as work-life balance. Fuck that. Everything is interconnected, okay? You don't just go home and, like, shut your work brain off, okay? Nice. I would love to meet the person that's able to do that consistently every day, but
literally.
Impossible.
It literally is impossible. It doesn't exist. It's, oh my God.
So it's to the point where, like, you're looking for something that's not going to exist. So keep looking for that work-life balance, because it's going to take
just make it your own. Just figure it out. Like, literally just do whatever the hell you want, and like, that's it. Like, oh my God, I could go on and on about the work-life balance. But you don't need work-life balance if you love what you do. Like, people say, Taylor, you work so much. Why? Because you see me up at 2 a.m. I don't see it as working hard. I see it as I'm doing what I love. Like, I'm sorry that you think I'm working so hard. I mean, I do work a lot of hours. Just doing what I want to do.
I really am genuinely doing what I love, and I'll wake up at any hour. I'll travel to any distance to do that. You see it as work because you don't like it. You know what I mean? I love it. I don't see it as work. Don't tell me to stop because I'm helping people. Like, go fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, go do your own thing. Go keep complaining about the job that you hate and all your wishes and dreams that you're never going to do or you haven't done yet. And that's a you thing. You know what I mean? Like, fight your own battles. Don't bring your battle over here. So yeah, I think that's really important.
Oh my God, I love that. I really do. That's like, it's just so true. Because like, you work these people work these 9 to 5s. We do whatever we can. And then it's like, okay, like, laptop off, like, what can I do? Done. But like, everything is like still like in the back of your head. Like, okay, tomorrow, you almost build more anxiety too. Because it's like, tomorrow I have to open up my laptop again. I have to deal with all these people, do whatever I can. Like, I'm also very much, especially when it comes to the corporate world, like I'm there right now to focus on what I have to do for you. And for me, like if I don't get something done, I'll definitely let you know. But hey, it just didn't get done today. And you want to know what? Like my time is up and I'm just going to...
And that's it.
I'm off. Like,
see you later.
I'll see you tomorrow, same time, and figure it out then. Because like you just can't. And I think that's like also the biggest barrier for most people because they have that intention of like, wow, I have to open up my laptop again, and I didn't get this done, so I have to get it done now, and like work even later, whatever. I mean, sure, if that's your thing, and like it'll make you,
maybe that's your passion, and that's what you want to do. So
if it
that's
makes
how
you feel better, sure,
yeah,
sure. Do what you got to do. But like for me, it's just like I'm here to show you as well as a job as I can do. Some days I hit it, some days I don't. Like it happens. I had one manager or a manager's manager who I really I loved. She was great to work for. And she basically was like, look, if there's something you want to go do at any point in the day, like she's like, if you're in the office, like I sometimes I work in the city, right? And she's like, if there's like a pop-up you want to go to, because like you think it'll make you feel better about your day or just make you feel good, go to the pop-up, go do what you have to do, and then just like come back, turn your laptop on, see what you missed, do whatever, and like take it from there. Like she was like, I don't want this to be like, oh my God, you're like chained to your desk to like do all these things. Like, thank God, you know what I mean? Like it's so, I think that's where it really builds that stigma of people hating their job because it's like, wow, I'm really chained to this and I can't leave and I can't do this and I'm not allowed to walk away because if I miss something, like, oh no, you know,
this shit's gonna hit the fan. I'm gonna get fired the next day.
Yeah.
One note too is like you see people that specifically don't like their jobs or like are unhappy some parts in their life, like they have sleep is like a big thing. They have trouble sleeping. And it's because you're taking all of these anxious thoughts to bed with you. It's because you come home because you're entertaining the family or maybe doing something for yourself.
You're doing beyond.
You know, you're doing all these other things. And then by the time it hits 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever your bedtime is, you sit in bed and that's the first time that you're thinking about all the shit that happened in your day. No shit, you're not going to be able to fall asleep. Are you kidding me? Like now's the time that you're deciding to review your day.
You literally just lived a whole life and now you're at peace and you're like, okay, let's go back and see what I just did.
And it's like, no shit, you're not able to fall asleep for an hour because you just replayed your life for your whole day for an hour. Then you're thinking about all that for another 30 minutes and there's your 2 hours and no sleep because maybe you didn't meditate or you didn't take that moment or you didn't journal or whatever your outlet is. It's like, don't wait till the end of the day or like even in your job if you're unhappy, not you but like anyone, if you're unhappy, don't wait till you have to get fired or to hit the fan for you to be like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Let me figure out plans. And like for anyone that doesn't have plans, fucking hit me up. If you feel like you don't know, like just figure it out. Like we'll figure it out together. Nothing is too complicated to figure out. I mean, everything is manageable. My husband, he almost didn't graduate from college because he was missing one credit because his guidance counselor fucked up. His guidance counselor was saying, oh, sorry, whatever. I was like, just give me 4 hours. I'll think about it. I fucking figured out a solution. And by the end of the day, he had a credit. That's it. I'm like, there's no need for you to freak out.
There's always a workaround.
We can figure it out. You know what I mean? So like, if you're struggling and like, you don't know what you want to do next, but you know that this isn't what you want to be doing, that's great. Like you're actually in a great place because you're aware that you're not happy and that there's another path that you might want to go on. So you're already ahead. So let's dive deeper into that. And my next recommendation and tip would be just go experience. Figure out first what you really don't like. Maybe just go pick up a hammer and, say, yep, I'm not a construction guy.
Have
or
fun.
Whatever it
just
is.
Figure it out.
Figure out what you really don't want to do. And then life will slowly, put together what attracts, to you and what resonates with your skills and your hobbies and your passions and it'll all come together.
People have to just be willing to try. I mean, I know it's hard. It's like a real big barrier to get over for sure. For like a lot of people, I mean, again, even doing this, like it's daunting and it's scary. But in general, if you don't just like try to figure it out or just don't like try to enjoy at least what you're doing, you're just always going to constantly be unhappy. And I think like for me, when I like started out in corporate, it was like at first I like really wasn't enjoying anything I was doing. I'm like, this is like not what I had expected. But with time, I had different positions and stuff like that. And I'm finally in roles that like I do love and I'm having like the best time, And I've like been able to, like I just said, like have that mindset of like, okay, I'm here to do whatever I can as best as I can for right now. And then if I don't achieve it today, There's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not coming in doing no work.
Right.
Like, if you're doing that, like, okay, at that point,
you're not
like,
kicking your feet up here.
Yeah,
you're
like,
into it. You're just not gonna slit your wrists.
Yeah.
And, you know, put yourself in the hospital to
Right.
sacrifice for the mission.
Right.
But if maybe that was your passion, well, then maybe that's the way that you set yourself apart.
Yeah.
You do, you know, go grind and get this stuff done, and like, you know, go work late hours. All for you, you know.
Have fun. Yeah.
Go for it. Like, oh, you, because I do the same in my work, but I know sometimes if, you know, some of the people that we hire, like, if you're not also in the same passion, you're not going to want to do what we're doing, you know, like, and that's okay. Like, great. I'm so glad that you are on your journey of life. You're figuring that out and you're willing to evolve and change. Go for it. I'm your biggest supporter, you know, like, and I think that's important in life too. Like, just because someone doesn't do what you think is best for them or you expect of them, which is already a bad position to have expectations of others, but just because someone doesn't, you know, live up to the bar that you're setting for them doesn't mean that they're bad or that they suck or whatever. It's just, you know, that's them and that's their life. And really, again, it comes to focusing on, well, what about you? What are you doing for yourself?
Yeah,
Stop,
100%.
Stop looking at others.
Stop.
Yeah,
like,
stop.
Please stop. It's really ridiculous. I mean, like, I can't. For me personally, I always catch myself doing it, and it's like, you got to stop.
Yeah.
But I think more so for like the general population, like, we really all
or looking at others, like how, like looking at others up and down, or looking at them in the eyes. That's two different things. Like, I look intentionally at people in the eyeballs. So it's actually so bad that like I don't even recognize.
You probably scare them.
No, I don't even recognize like when my mother and my mother-in-law get their hair done. Because I don't even fucking look at the hair. I am not even. New nails. Oh shit. Fucking really pretty.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Sorry.
Like beat me. Like, you got a new purse. So cute. Like, oh, I missed that. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm just literally diving into your eyeballs and like I don't even know what you're. So there's two different ways you can look at people. Like in a judgy way. Like, ooh, they got like the Marshalls shirt on or whatever. Like, what the fuck? Get a life. I mean, I know billionaires that wear Marshall's clothes. Come on, you can't judge people by a book. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, we could talk a lot about judging and shit like that. Maybe next season.
Maybe next season. Or if you come back later in the season for another episode, I mean, why not?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe with Forsyth.
You could come on with Forsyth. The two of you should
I need to come on with the boys. And we
you
need to
do.
have a
I know.
heated. We can have like.
I need to really, really get everyone together and like we all just sit and just see where this goes. Like see where it goes, because I really want that to happen.
And you have the space. You literally have the perfect setup to be able to just like prop your cam over there.
Yeah. And then everyone just have a ball.
Set a calendar link out and be like, hey.
I know.
You can sign up for these.
Well, we're trying to figure out a date. And this obviously is like totally off topic, but we're trying to figure out a date for our fantasy league. Because do you know what they have to do?
No. Oh, is it
Forsyth?
Blackjack?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Forsyth and Kev lost. Or Forsyth lost last year. He won this year actually, but because Dom won. I lied. Forsyth lost last year. So he had to do a challenge last year, but we never made it because whatever, like we all got busy and we kind of forgot, right? So he lost last year. This year he was in the lead, but then Dom beat him, so whatever. Like he almost won it all, like literally. And when he was on his episode, like a couple episodes ago, I like said to him like, Scythe, like, he goes, I feel like it should be a wash. Like I shouldn't have to do the challenge because I'm gonna win this year. And I go, but are you gonna take like the money like that we're all putting in? And he was like, well, yeah. I'm like, so then it shouldn't be a wash. Like you're taking the prize. If you don't, then it's a wash. Sure. But you're going to take the prize money and like you want us to forget it? Like, no, that's not happening. So whatever. He lost or he came in second, right? Dom won. And Kev was like he lost this whole season. Like he lost the fantasy. I made it to playoffs again. That was my only goal. Like I was like, I just need to make it to playoffs.
Bitches got
No,
money,
literally,
baby.
like I'll give you my $50. Just put me in round 1 of the playoffs. That's all I fucking care about. And I did it. Year 2, I made it again to the playoffs. Like holy shit. But so since they both lost, they now have to sit at a bar from open to close, and like each drink they have is like time shed off their like time.
I feel like they
whatever.
both shouldn't. It should be separated.
The two of them together, I know.
That's
like,
too fun. That's too much fun.
We literally said that. Like they're actually gonna have the time of their life. Like being
like this is actually a bad challenge because that sounds fun.
No, forget it. The two of them are actually just gonna like like talk to everyone.
Bars.
Yeah, like they're gonna have too good of a time, and then like we're all gonna come in and meet up with them, see how things are going, blah blah blah, and they're gonna be like fine and like gonna be happy go lucky.
Best challenge ever.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll be in your fantasy league.
No, like I'm like fuck. Like we honestly kind of gave it a little too good to them, but
I've heard some crazy.
I know some people do like crazy shit. I mean, we
gotta step it up. What the hell?
I know we like thought about like the SATs and like stupid shit like that, but like then we don't get to like watch
to like some crazy show.
Something, yeah, just to like get them a little bit out of their comfort level. I mean, this is like their comfort level. They'll be fine.
Like a concerto, like an instrumental.
Yeah, like it's just
a ballad.
We should have sent them to like the Nutcracker.
But
like
honestly,
we should have made them.
They would make friends. So.
Exactly.
It's got to be a separated team.
I know. They're going to have too good of a time, like whatever, but we're trying to figure out, like, anyway, back to like us just trying for them to figure out a date with their schedules is going to be like so hard anyway. So I could only imagine when that's going to come and like whatever. I'm looking forward to it.
You gotta do like a party invite, like a party full, and like say here are the 3 dates, like select it and say
please select
80% can come. All right, the next episode you're on.
Yeah, I know. I really should. I need to get because Scythe has been on twice. I wanted to get all the guys on, like at least do one individual episode if they wanted, like, and if they don't, like that's fine. I'm not gonna force you to do it, but I think it would obviously be a lot of fun to get all of them on because it would be hilarious.
They all have like interesting like journeys, you know. They're all doing like interesting things. Like I mean, if I'm like a kid and I like the water, I don't know Maritimes at school. How the fuck do I know?
Yeah.
I could go to boating school or whatever and be on a boat.
Oh, so every time.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear about this, you know? Like how...
No, when he comes on, we talk about the business.
Yeah. I saw that he had you wearing his shirt.
Oh, for sure. I'm here to promote. Like, I will put on whatever you need. Like, I do not care. His first episode, we wore his other shirts that he had.
We got to bring in the frequency shit next time.
Yeah,
next time. Put the patches over here.
Perfect.
I love it.
Let's do it.
That's funny as shit. I think the boy episode is gonna be great. It's like a family dinner, but like,
I know. I really need to like get everyone together for us to do it because it would just be pure chaos number one, and it would just be so funny. I think like what we should do obviously is just like tell stories about like growing up and everything, and then like just
all
like
the stories.
Yeah, the amount of sleepovers we've had, like you know what I mean? Like it was just all like funny shit that. And I always say it too, like especially every episode, like I shout, like at the end of every episode, I always shout out like the brothers because like it's true, like are we blood? No, but like we've been together for so long, like there actually are my brothers. Literally. We talk every goddamn fucking day. Yeah. Like I wouldn't know where I would be without them.
You're literally always talking or together or something. And I think that's also the beauty of life is that you can be so close with people and they don't need to be they could be a chosen family. Yeah, and that's. You know, sometimes your family is not the best people, and that's also okay, you know? Like, you don't really choose who your family is, so it's important to just know that you're also not stuck to your family, you know? Yeah. Again, back to being stuck and, like, identifying yourself in just one way. Like, you could choose to have friends and be really close and, you know, they are your family, and that's amazing. I mean, human connection is invaluable. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like, especially in a world today where loneliness and depression is so prominent, it's so easy to turn inward. And we do too much to a point where it's like not to benefit us, but to hurt us. And it's beautiful that you can have relationships like that with other people.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's like my favorite thing in the world. I love telling people about it. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I have a sister, but like I also have like 8 brothers. Like on the side,
I have a sister, but I also have
I constantly say it. Anytime I meet someone, I'm like, oh, like you know, they're not related to me, but like we've been friends since like middle school and like ever since, and actually like are inseparable and hang out 24/7. So yeah, that's my life. Like
they gotta be here. That's gotta you gotta like title it like family dinner.
Literally,
maybe have Nick and Kevin like whip up a dish.
I know, I really should. I know Kev's been like loving cooking.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, it works out for me when I'm around. I'm like, hey, personal chef. I'm like, hey, like this is great. Like, you want to try this recipe? Yeah. Like, how's this going? Like,
send him something. Like, oh, you should try this.
Yeah, like, Kev, you want to make this next time? Like, definitely, he won't take any cooking help from me. So I'm already out of the kitchen. I'm like, you're like, sure, I'll help, I'll offer, but I know it's not accepted. So I'm like, all right,
that's fine. That's fine.
I'll clean up. I'll be the dish lady.
Say less. For sure. Yeah.
I'm the dish lady all the way through and through. I'll clean up the mess. Yeah, I'm not a cook.
No, I love that.
Yeah, but definitely that would be good.
I know. I'm hopefully one day I'll be able to do it. I really have to like convince most of them, I feel. I mean, they're all like fine with it, but I think to like actually sit everyone down, it's gonna be a lot. And
it's gonna be an experience.
I also need to get like 1,000,010 microphones for everyone, like, and be like, okay, here's yours.
You
yours.
can voice memo on the phone.
Oh, you can? Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe I'll do that. I'll just like open up everyone's.
Voice memo. If they follow directions, it's a whole nother.
Yeah, it's a whole nother.
Getting them
Watch,
here.
then they'll get on their phone and they'll like turn it off and be like, oh shit, like
I didn't get the audio.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like,
what? We needed audio.
Yeah. I could only imagine. Like I have to like that I need to change them to the chair. Like you know.
I'll give you some of my mics.
Yeah, so, yeah. I'll be like, everyone sit and let's be good until I say action. Like
sit down.
Yeah.
Hands on the table. Crisscross applesauce. Everyone.
Literally. But Taylor, this was an amazing episode, truly. Like, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. And thank you for kicking off season 2 with me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to keep the conversations going. And this is an amazing platform that you have.
Thank you.
Kudos to you. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. No, of course. Do you want to, are there any socials that you want to give yourself a shout out to for people to follow you on or reach out to you?
Like literally so many. You could just find me on my website. It's taylor.co. C-O.
Love. I'll put the link in the description of this video. I'll put the link. And everyone can visit you there.
Let's go.
Yeah, perfect.
And also, I'm dead serious. Like, if you're really unsure about your path, I don't care if we know each other or don't. Hit me up and I'm down to chat and help you however I can.
Definitely. No, that'd be great. All right, everyone. So that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in this week for season 2 of Rocco on the Rocks. We're really excited. I have a lot planned. I want to hopefully, see come to life, and we're just going to have a lot of fun like we did last season and continue the fun on this season. So again, to end the show, shout out always to my parents, my sisters, my brothers, my poos, my creative directors. I love you guys with all my heart. And always shout out to the rock stars. Without you guys, wouldn't be here. I hope you continue to listen every single week and enjoy everything I put out for you guys, because I'm truly just enjoying my time here. But with that, remember, always be your best self. Do not forget to smile. Life's what you make it, so let's make it rock. I will see you all next week. Goodbye.